My name's Travis Smith. I'm the owner of GGB Enterprises. I'm also a team leader here. I've been a realtor for a while, so I'll kind of go through my story. I started in the back of my dad's work truck, and it looked pretty much like that, except it was blue. It didn't have the back door for the passenger side on it. So you'd have to like get in and scooch. There's three. I was the oldest of three kids, so I was the mule. So I learned very well that, or very early on, that my job was to carry things, which carried well into my marriage, which is great. You know, love, honor, cherish, pack mule. So that's what we do as men. I totally understand. So, anyways, I started in the back of my dad's work truck in high school. He was kind of a mechanic, a jack of all trades, and I learned how to do basic construction stuff. So how to do a little drywall repair, how to do a little caulking, just the little things, and to do a little bit of roofing. And then I got hired by one of his buddies when I was in my freshman year in college. I got hired by one of his buddies for the summer, and we did a massive remodel off of Camelback and 44th Street for a dentist. We added on like 1,500 square foot to this beautiful brick mansion of sorts, and we did level 5 texture on the drywall, which just that texture took at least a month to put on that small amount of house. Like, it's apply a coat, sand the coat, apply a coat, sand the coat, apply the coat, sand the coat, and we did that for a month. So that was the summer. It was 122. On that day, I was in a closet, and I was the young kid, the strong kid. So I was running the hopper in the closet, which a hopper is it's all the drywall mud goes in, it's wet, it's moist, and you're shooting a gun like this, and you're applying it to the wall. And in this closet, there was no air movement. So when I came out into 122, I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels like air conditioning. This is great. I'm like just soaked to the bone. I'm like, so I went home that day, and I was like, man, you know, this is a lot of hard work. I've been up on roofs doing roofing in the summer. I've been laying pavers in the summer. Like, this is brutal hard work. Like, maybe I should think about doing something a little different. Like, so I went to NAU. I had a wonderful couple that I worked at the Forum at Desert Harbor when I was in high school, and was in love with this beautiful redhead at church that I met. And this couple would just ask me questions. What are you doing? Where are you going on a date? What are you doing? So they were super kind to me. And then at the end of high school, they said, hey, we have a fund that offers scholarships to kids that can't get one. And I was a kid that couldn't get one. And they were so generous and blessed me with tuition paid for NAU, so which happened to be where this hot redhead was going to be going. She and I went up to NAU, and I was bound and determined to get a 4-year degree, because if you have a 4-year degree in business, you are set, right? Like, I'm 51, so there's some of you that are much younger in here, but you know, if you had a degree back in 1992, 1996, that meant you're set. Like, you're gonna make so much money. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do business, because business, man, is about making money. Because you're gonna be a provider, make the money. And then I took accounting. Accounting's really hard, and I am more of a talker, more of a wordsmith. I can type a paper, like I can crap out a paper in 10 minutes. But math was very, very difficult for me. So I swung. I'm a baseball guy, so I took 3 swings at that class, and I was out. So I ended up sliding into communications, which communications degree is good for either going into the ministry or maybe becoming a lawyer. And I liked the classes. I really enjoyed doing presentations. I enjoyed talking with people, but I was like, I don't know. So I ended up getting an internship as a youth pastor for North Phoenix Baptist Church West in Glendale. I did that for a semester. My wife, or my fiance at the time, the hot redhead I keep mentioning, she said yes, and we were engaged. So she would help me with that little season of life. She was student teaching, and I was a youth pastor. So we finished that semester up, and then I was like, you know, we're getting married in September. This is May. Maybe I should get a job that pays more than $800 a month so that we can survive. So I was like, what? I have a communications degree. I should be able to score a righteous job. It'd be great. So I got hired as it was for Southwest Key program. I remember the name of the company, but my job was I went from working with all these kids at church to, because I had that experience, like, we need people that when the juveniles get out of juvie and they're going back in the community, that we can help them make a smooth transition. And you're a great fit for that. So I did that for a bit, which was kind of crazy. Like, hey, you're on house arrest until I get there. Don't leave the house. If you leave the house, you're going back to juvie. So that was kind of a different life. I'm like, all right, so I'm making a little bit more money. My wife and I, her dad's a pastor. So as soon as we get back from the honeymoon, he's like, you know what we need? We need a couple to start a small group for all the young couples in church. I'm like, dude, we just got back from our honeymoon. Like, can you guys? So that kept going. Like, he kept asking. So all right, we'll start a group. And about 6 months later, I was kind of bemoaning in the group about, hey man, I'm doing my best. I got a degree. I should be making a lot of money, but I'm not. And we're in this little apartment. We're trying to Kirsten's talking about wanting to have kids. We've been married now for 6 months. This is really a struggle. And my buddy's like, hey, I know that you mentioned that you had done some work with your dad. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I'm a guy at UDC Homes. Does anybody remember UDC Homes back in the day? McDowell Mountain Ranch. That's where I got hired. And I went to the first job interview, and the construction manager, his name's Dean Rada. Picture this, a guy with, remember those PE coach shorts that were like shorty shorts with a white polo stained with coffee, bald on the top, with hair out like this, and when he gets stressed, he'd pull his hair. So he'd get bigger and bigger hair, but none on top, and just smoke like a chain. Travis, why do you want all this brain damage? You'd be babysitting grown men. I'm like, I need a job, dude. So he's like, all right, you're hired. And so the next day I come in, and I start on McDowell Mountain Ranch, and I get introduced to the team, and they're like, awesome, the new cockpit. We'll see how long he lasts. So they called me that because my job entailed the day of closing, I would run around with a caulking gun and a rag and a paintbrush and just touch anything that the customer was concerned about. So I did well at that. So then they graduated me to assistant superintendent and started kind of watching houses from drywall to close. And then they're like, we're liking what I was doing a good job. And they're like, okay, how about we'll eventually get you on a project. And then at that point in time, UDC Homes was sold to Standard Pacific and Shea. And it split. So I was on the Standard Pacific, well, the Shea side for a bit. I liked doing it. It was great. They moved me over to, my wife and I actually we had a little bit of money. We bought a house. Our family had started. We had our first son. She was a 4th grade teacher. Then she took a half-time job as a kindergarten teacher. So her and one of her friends would share the class. So she'd work mornings, my wife would work afternoons, and we each had a son within 2 months of each other. So they would watch the babies. So as my income was going up, hers was going down. And our goal was always to have her be able to stay home with kids. So like that was starting to work. Like, okay, we're starting to see some success. So we'll fast forward the story a little bit. I ended up shifting over to Standard Pacific Homes and got promoted to a superintendent. I ran a project off of 19th Avenue, 111th in Van Buren, Coldwater Springs. Anybody heard of Coldwater Springs? So it's a decent sized community down there, and it was my first shot at like being the guy. And I got paid $60,000 a year, which I thought I was big pimping it. $60,000, like, I'm making it. We have food. There's actually a little money. We have a house. We had our second son. Like, things are really moving along. And I'm the youngest superintendent in the company. We have the best customer service numbers, the best build times. We're killing it. And we have, on the team, there's 2 other assistants with me, and those guys have the best numbers. We are slaying it. And we're getting honored in meetings and this and that. So I'm like, I really want to go into management. I want my boss's job. That would be rad. What I need to do is get a master's degree. Because if you get a master's degree, you are super duper set. So I took a ridiculous amount of money loan and went to the University of Phoenix and got an MBA. And I crushed accounting, by the way. Crushed it. Just got an A in that class. During which, at the end of that class, they said, we're going to write a thesis. We're teaching you entrepreneurial skills. we want you to write this thesis about whatever. I'm like, if we, as Standard Pacific Homes, bought this specific property up off of Carefree Highway, and we were going to offer a semi-custom product, Standard Pacific would kill it. So I wrote this 120-page thesis with graphs and charts and all the projections, everything. It was awesome. I got an A on it, and then I scheduled an appointment with the VP of construction. I said, hey, I've got this plan. I'd love to meet with you. I've got a PowerPoint presentation. Love to sit with you for an hour. Awesome. He said, come on in. I rolled throughout the whole plan, showed him everything, showed him the projections, showed him the feasibility, showed him what we need to do for land, everything, how to acquire the land. I found the land, did everything, laid it out for him, gave him a copy, said, when's my promotion? And he's like, dude, kid, you're 26 years old. There are guys that have been doing this for 30 years that are in front of you to get promoted. It's not about how good you are at your job. It's about seniority. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I walked out crushed. I called my wife, and I was in tears. I'm like, I really thought that this was gonna bounce me in this leadership. And she's like, all right, come home, we'll pray about it, we'll figure it out. So that was in October. December rolls around. We go to the Christmas party. Mario gets called up in front of everybody and congratulated upon his plan of executing, purchasing this land, and that it's going to be the next up and coming. Has anybody heard of Tremonto?
Oh.
That was my idea.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and he took it off. So I was like, oh, dang, man, you can't win for trying. And so I was like, I have no respect for these people. I can't work here anymore. So I went to a small builder called Kenwood Homes. Does anybody remember Charlie Keating?
Yeah. Worked for him.
Did you?
Yep.
I worked for CK4.
Yeah.
Versus Phoenician.
Or CK3, sorry.
C3?
CK3, yeah.
Yeah.
So he just started this company, and he hired me as vice president of construction and customer service, and we had about 8 communities, little pockets from 223rd Avenue and Lower Buckeye to Apache Junction, and I was responsible for all that. So only thing I didn't have control over was a checkbook, and that comes into play later. It's a little foreshadowing. So that went great. We were kicking butt, and then all of a sudden, trades started calling me because I was responsible for hiring trades. I was responsible for making sure everything happened from cradle to grave. That was my job. Hired another project manager to help me, and then trades started calling me and said, hey, when we get paid? I'm like, what do you mean I get paid? That's not good. I went to Charlie. Hey, Charlie, what's going on? He's like, I'm like, that's not good. So, long story short, I didn't work there anymore. And then I went to work at Del Webb, Cincinnati Grand.
Mm-hmm.
Have we heard of Portobello?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one in charge of Portobello. So, which was the most disastrous of communities that ever started. It was a horrible launch. It did not go well. We got it under control, wrestled that thing around, and ended up being, again, top producers, best numbers, best customer service. In the Del Webb world, in most builder world, if you're turning an 18% profit, that's what's due back to the company. If they're going to invest in a new project, 18% is what's due back. We were turning 44%. So Uncle Bill, which owned Del Webb, was bought out by Pulte. So Uncle Bill would throw down his credit card most Fridays, and the bar tab was always on Uncle Bill because we did really well. So we could do whatever we want. So we started hiring guys straight out of college, ladies right out of college, out of the military, because who remembers what was going on like 2003, 2005? It was going bonkers, right? So we would start 60 houses a day and finish 60 houses a day. So I was responsible for over $300 million product always, back at that time. So that would be, what, $900 million or something like that now? So again, we're kicking butt. I was next in line to be promoted to like Chancho over half the state. And they're like, dude, you're killing it. You're gonna make it. It's gonna be awesome. Dangling that carrot. It's gonna be awesome. You just keep going. All all right, I'm doing it. I'm going to all the events. I'm teaching classes. I'm doing all the things. And my wife in the background going, hey, you know, the family's still here. And you know, if ever things changed at work, they will go on without you, but your family doesn't. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I make the money. What am I gonna do? And by that time, I was making about $120,000 a year, and really thinking I was big pimpin'. Like, we're good. She's home. We had our third baby. We have 2 boys and a little girl now. And what happened? We just bought a house in 2006. We bought a new Pulte home over in the west side of town, so everything's going great. What happened in 2008? Big Short. Everything took a long crap, didn't it? Just boom. So we had hired, and I was responsible for 20 superintendents. I had to go through and have all those hard conversations, every one of them. And remember I said we hired them straight out of college or the military. So what job skill set do they have other than building homes? So that was like, and I don't know another way of mentoring or training or teaching than get my arm around someone like, all right, watch me. Okay, now I'm gonna watch you. Okay, you're doing that great. Now let's add another skill set and keep adding to it. So these people were my friends. I knew their husbands, I knew their wives, they knew my kids. They would come, we worked together, we played together. Like, so this was, oh god dang, it hurt my heart. We had 3 divorces and a suicide in that group, and I told my wife, like, never again can we be in charge of a group and not give people skill sets. Like, we can't do this. It broke my heart. It still does to this day. So I was the kind of last place finisher. My promotion gone. Community finished. Portobello, we finished it out. So they're like, hey man, your counterpart, his projects are still going, so he gets to keep his title and rank. We're gonna kind of keep you paid the same, but we need you to go back and start being in the ditches again. I'm like, I need a job, okay? And okay, I'll do that. So I'm doing that, and humbled and angry and mad, and turned to basically the only place I knew to turn, like God. I turned to God. So I was like, God, what's going on here? And really had to humble myself. Like, what am I missing? What did I not see? And that he's like, hey, I got a better plan here. Hang in there with me. I've got a better plan here. I'm like, okay, well, talk to me about your plan. He's like, hey, if you know anything about God, he will give you this much so that you don't get scared. It's a step-by-step faith-building thing. So I'm like, okay, I'll trust you. And that was that right there, I will trust you, changed everything. And he's like, I kept having people, because I'm back now working with clients and working with customers, go, hey, we just finished this brand new home or house, but we want to do X, Y, and Z to make it more of a home. I'm like, I got you. We can totally do this. Did I know how to do it? Heck no, I didn't know how to do it. But yes, absolutely, we will do this, 100%. And God's like, hey, maybe you should get an LLC. Okay. So that's how GGB Enterprises was born. It's God-given business. And that's what it stands for. That way I don't ever forget where it comes from. And we started customizing people's homes. Well, 6 months later, and God kept saying, hey, something's coming, it's going to be great. Something's coming, it's going to be great. And so I kept telling Kirsten, hey, God keeps telling me something's coming, it's going to be great. And one fine Friday afternoon, my boss came to me, which, wonderful man, love this dude, came to me, gave me a pat on the butt, and a severance check, and said, it's your turn, kid. So I got a severance check, got to cash out my 401k, and I was free. And I'd always had dreams of being an entrepreneur. But I'd watched my dad. My dad had the same dreams, but didn't understand how to run businesses. And he failed and bankrupted 5 times. And he put our family through all kinds of rigmarole. I'm like, I'm not sure about this, God. This is scary to me. And he's like, this is what I do. So I cashed my check. I cashed in my 401k. Took a loan from a family member. And we started flipping houses. So this is 2009, 2011. So that took off. We ended up flipping over 600 homes. People loved our remodels, during which time the first house we flipped, God's like, hey, you know what, you should get your real estate license. I'm like, that's like that. That's crazy. Crazy talk. So I didn't do it. It wasn't, slow obedience is disobedience, right? So I didn't do that. I'm sorry, I get really, I don't mean to be preachy, just God is a big part of my life. So we kicked along, and then all of a sudden, we were buying from auction. I had brought on a few business partners, others had brought me on. We had 15 houses under production at all times. We were blowing and going. We had multiple crews, flying, making money left and right. It was great. All of a sudden, the faucet turns off. Blackstone came to town. Anybody know who Blackstone is?
Yes.
Yes.
They started buying everything at auction at retail and just sat on it. There's over, I want to say 100,000 houses in the valley still that Blackstone owns and has not released. They knew if we bought it now and hold on for 10, 15 years, we're going to make a killing, and that's what they did. So all of our, like, oh my gosh, we're making all this money, went to nothing. And then again, I'm like, God, what happened? Oh my God, he's like, hey bro, remember, I told you, get your real estate license. Oh yeah. So in a month, I started classes, got that done, passed the test, boom, on real estate. Okay, here we go. Nothing for 6 months, because I didn't know how to sell real estate. So had to figure that out. So, and I had all kinds of credit for the businesses, and we had pulled line of credit, we're going into debt. I'm like, God, you told me not to be in debt. I'm going into debt, what is going on? And it led to one day, I'm in the office, and I'm just breaking down, I'm crying. I'm like, God, I'm trying to be obedient, what is going on? It's like, you're making it about you, dude. I'm like, you're right, I am. And he goes, make it about others. It's always about others. That shift happened, and then we started taking off. And in our first year, what most agents do 2 deals, we did 16. And all that happened in about 6 months. In 1 month, God paid off all of our debt. We were over $100,000 in debt. Done, gone, boom, done. So I'm like, all right, we're rocking, we're being obedient, awesome. Then, remember I said it's always this, do you try? It's this stretch, it's this constant stretch. So he's like, you should teach others how to do what you do. Like, okay, Dave, God, I've had a transaction coordinator this whole time. I don't know how to put a house on the market. I know how to write a contract, but she does everything else. He's like, that's fine. Teach people what you know. So we started doing a team. Our team's a little bit different. So we charge $500 a month until you close your first transaction. And that's not for nonprofit, it's for them to do it. If they're not finding value in what you're teaching, they won't do it. So $500 a month. Then it's a 70-30 split. Every 5 deals, you get 5% more. We try to incentivize. My goal in this, do you guys remember going to real estate school? What was the stat? How many were successful? How many would renew their license?
23%.
1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 would renew their license, and I'm like, that is bullcrap. Basically, as a real estate community, we're giving birth in the street and walking away from these babies that don't know what to do. So I'm like, our goal is to make everyone that goes through our program renew their real estate license. So we're like, it's a 6-month contract. If you hate it here, we're gonna let you out because I don't want drama. Whatever. My goal is to make you totally autonomous in 6 months. And everyone that's gone through our program has been, which is awesome. We've also taught, how do you become a mentor? How do you launch a team? So we've seen others go on and launch. There's my home group teams here that came out of our group. I'm like, all right, this is working. This is cool. Meanwhile, we're still flipping. Meanwhile, we're still doing wholesaling. Meanwhile, we have multiple irons in the fire. If you're new to real estate, you need multiple irons in the fire. We do commercial, we do wholesale, we do buyers, we do sellers, we do everything in real estate. Because if you don't, then it's going to be lean. So one of those things I learned from back in the day about making sure we teach skill sets. So that came full circle. So now we flip, we manage, we do all these things, and I'm a general contractor. People were loving what we were doing on our flips and said, hey, can you do that in my house? Yeah. Well, what's the law now on flips? If you buy a house with intent to sell it within the first year and you don't use a licensed general contractor, what are you liable for?
Losing your license.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Losing your license is one of the things, but there's even possible jail time. So if you're working with clients they're trying to do investments, or they're a listing that wants to do a little bit of stuff to increase their ROI, and they don't use a licensed contractor, they are hugely liable. And to take that to another step, if you are an agent recommending non-licensed work, you are liable. So there's a need there. I'm like, all right, we've done this, we can slide in, we can be a licensed contractor and help make everybody's life a little bit easier. So that brings us today. So, this is how we coach, by the way. Life is like a three-legged stool. God's in the middle. Everything runs through him. When we coach, we do hour sessions. So we're gonna talk about what are you gonna do in your life this week to show someone love one directionally. One directionally, no hook. Not what am I getting back, that's what God does to us. One direction, no hook. So what are you gonna do this week to show someone love? What are you gonna do to take care of your body this week? So I have an autoimmune, and a couple of the guys on our team had autoimmune. Sometimes it's, dude, I just need to take a nap. I'm exhausted. Sometimes I need to go to the doctor. This isn't necessarily about, dude, I'm gonna go get swole. Like, that's not what it's about. It's like, what am I gonna do to make sure this vessel that God gave me can help me accomplish what he wants me to accomplish? With my family, whatever, what am I doing? Relationships, it could be just date night. It could be, hey, I'm gonna take some time with my kid this week. What am I gonna do one-on-one? Body, what am I gonna do to take care of this? Then we talk about business. What am I doing in my business this week that is going to generate income? This business is not who I identify as. This is not who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm Kirsten's husband. I'm Caleb Tanner and Jocelyn's dad. I learned that lesson the hard way. Business is funding our lifestyle. That's all this does. Okay, that's what we coach on. So, the reason you guys came, I tell you all that so that when we get into this, it gives me just a little bit of, I kind of know what I'm talking about, and I hope this is a blessing for you guys today. So, why remodeling knowledge really matters for realtors and for agents. Why do we need to have some type of skill set here? Well, it helps buyers with vision. How many times when you're walking through a house, do people like, well, I'm not quite sure because the flooring isn't plank style flooring. Well, does it check every other box? Well, we can change that. We can? Like, you understand, people that you're helping with are not from our industry. Like, they're web designers, they're doctors, they're lawyers, like, they don't get it. So we have to cast that vision. Help sellers compete with property condition. She and I were just talking about this. So many times when we're getting out the gate, we want to give a good property that shows well, takes pictures well, sells well. This is how we add value to deals. And it helps us sell more houses. We like to sell houses, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, making money is good. We are for profit, yeah? Yeah, okay. Remodel knowledge equals leverage. This helps you in your business. So far, so good? Any questions yet? Okay, we're gonna keep building on this. So, we want to sell potential, but potential must be executed correctly. If we're casting a vision of, hey, this is how cool this house can be, we want to make sure we're selling that with an idea of who can do this. It's great to have the idea, but if you don't have a who can do this, there's a problem. So bad remodels. Hey, let's talk about this picture. What's so cool about this picture?
Love where that sink is. The lovely little angle there.
Measure twice, cut once, right? This doesn't fit, but you know we'll just make a half weirdo peninsula. It'd be just fine. It'd be fine.
Shrink the dishwasher.
Exactly. This causes all kinds of problems. It kills deals. How many of you had a bad deal because remodel was crap? I've had it. Have you had to reduce prices on your listings because the house just doesn't hit, right? Or how about any of the DIY ones that the homeowners do that they're like, we're gonna change the den into a bedroom, and they just do a whack job. I'm gonna show you some pictures and stuff when we get there. And it damages agent credibility. When things don't look good, it hurts. It's a reflection on us, guys. Critical thought. Every remodel reflects back on the agent or the realtor who recommended it. So when we're casting vision, we need to do it well. All right, here's a goal for today. I'm gonna increase we're hoping to increase your value to your client, reduce your risk, you and client, and how to choose partners wisely. That's what we're shooting for today. Any questions so far? We kind of have a smaller class, so any interaction is fine. I'm gonna do my best. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But usually with this type of stuff, I pray have a pretty good idea. All right, remodeling is a listing conversion tool. This remodeling is so huge when you're going on your listing appointments. So let's talk through. You go to your listing appointment. Ding dong. Hey, it's Travis. I'm here because we had an appointment. You guys ready? Yes. What's the first thing they want you to do? Walk the house with them, right? I mean, you want to do that same thing too. So as realtors, I'm licensed here and in California, by the way, as a realtor. So as realtors, we have some type of onus on what's going on in that condition of the property. We have to disclose, right? We're liable. If something's bad and we don't disclose, we're liable. So we're bebopping around the house. Everything's awesome. Everything's awesome. What's that smell? Oh my gosh, under the cabinet, there's mold. I've got to disclose that, right? You get in big trouble if we don't. So we want to be cognizant when we're taking that walk about asking questions, figuring out what are they trying to do. So that's part of that spuds items or deferred maintenance. We're looking for that type of stuff because it can get us in trouble. And if we lose our license, what happens? We can't make money. So doing it right is important. How about if we notice some peeling paint? What can that do? If there's peeling paint on the property, what happens?
FHA appraisal will call
Oh,
out
they get you, don't they? How about VA?
today. Yeah.
Oh, VA stick it to you. They will. So if we see stuff like that, we need to be well versed in our job, understanding we need someone to help us with this. And most of the time, the client's like, I can look up YouTube. Maybe we can. Yeah. So, how about condition versus seller pricing? Zillow says it's worth. You know, and you're walking in and there's a waterfall coming through the ceiling because it rained. Maybe Zillow is wrong on this one. So we need to have an understanding here of why, when we're working through our listing presentation, how can we best help our customer? Because really that's what we're after, right? If they have a good experience with us, what are they going to do? Tell how many people? 2. If they have a bad experience with us, how many people are going to tell? 10. All right, so we're trying to hedge our bet here. This is really important. So if that happens, we can really get into a breakdown. So what's the problem? The problem's like, oh my gosh, how do I get the condition to match price point? She and I were having a very good conversation about that earlier. A lot of times people want to get to a higher price point, but the condition of the property does not meet that. How do we help them get over that hump? Who do I recommend? We're worried about liability. We just talked about liability, right? So that's really important to understand. We are liable. How about timeline? The clients want to get the house on the market right away because there's a baby coming. They need to move. What other reasons? Why do people sell houses?
Job transfers.
Job transfers. What else?
Downsizing.
Downsize. What else?
Having babies.
Having babies.
Upside.
Upside. Yeah. So there's a reason. There's a pain in that's causing them to come up against this. Because selling a house isn't fun, right? It's not the best time. Buying a house, it's all kinds of fun, sparkles and joy. But selling a house is work. So they're having to do it for a reason. And if you have a timeline that's important, bringing in the right contractor is critical. Why?
So we'll get it done.
They all have to coordinate with each other and get in and out so that you minimize the time that the house is exposed to that interest rate from that hard money loan you just took out, and so on and so forth.
That's a hard money loan. Why would we use a hard money loan?
Because we don't have $200,000, or we don't want to spend the $200,000 we do have.
Yes. Smart. Good job. What about budget blowouts? Do people worry about this? So having the right contractor in that has understanding and experience to do that is critical, right? And then how is this going to reflect on me as a realtor? Having someone that you can trust directly. All right. Let's see. Oops. Well,
How How's your Wi-Fi connection?
I don't know. It's not working. Anyways, has anybody watched Dude Dad? Dude Dad is. I just need a couple more days construction. This guy is like, he's a savage. I love his stuff.
So good.
He's funny. He and his wife do a lot of remodels, and they're what's up? The remodel is done on his house, and he just keeps telling his wife, I just need a few more days to finish the project. And he goes from thing to thing, like, hey, the toilet leaked upstairs, and so I cut this hole in the ceiling, but since I have a hole in the ceiling, we thought we'd just add 4 more can lights. So we're gonna do that, but in the middle of this, I'm gonna start my deck job. And the deck job's halfway done. He's like, I just need a few more days, and then and then he moves on to this next project. So his house is always torn up.
Project creep.
Exactly. So that's the agent, or that's the contractor that we want to avoid, right? Because that kills timelines. So we want to be specific in who we're working with. So professional contractors, this is what they help with: a scope of work, and we're gonna write that scope of work so it's predominantly for making this house sell. We're gonna avoid over improvements. Having a very good contractor who understands the real estate that side of things, so we don't over improve a house. So here's a story. I've done so many flips. I partnered with a buddy of mine who is a loan officer, and we bought a townhouse to very cheap, good deal. We were going to make money. He really wanted to learn how to flip. Our deal was, I'll find the property, you buy the property, I'll do the remodel, you pay for the remodel, I'll coach you along, introduce you to the team so that you can do it next time, and then we'll split the profit at the end. I'll sell it as the agent, we'll split the profit. We were all in. He and I, great partnership. We were doing great. Then he said, hey, my wife has been watching Chip and Joanna, and she thinks that we need to really spruce it up. I'm like, bro, budget.
Shiplap.
Shiplap, exactly. And we can't just paint the cabinets, we need new cabinets. And we can't just do a little backslash, we need to do this gaudy. I'm like, bro, budget. So we broke even on it, but she had a grand time. So it's really important that when you are working with a contractor that we don't over improve something, because we don't do this for practice. We do it for what? Profit. Yes. We need to hit timelines that align with your listing schedule. Having a good partnership with the agent and the contractor is critical, so that things get done on time and realistically, not some knucklehead that's just pie in the sky shooting numbers because he wants the job. I work with contractors who understand buyer psychology, not just construction. So, case in point, we have den. What happens if we turn a den into a bedroom? What does that do for the property value? Increases it. $10,000 to $20,000. So does it make sense to add a closet to this den and convert it into a bedroom? You can leave the double doors on, but simply adding a closet bumps your list price $15,000 to $20,000. It's nice to know. Could that help your listing? Could it help you win a listing? Heck yeah. All right, scope of work. Excuse me. Sorry.
No, you're not.
Okay. We can kind of see that. All right, so this is one of my estimates. I'm working with a client right now that wants to put a house on the market. They're asking me, what can we do to increase value? It's a cute little house in 7th Street and Glendale area. It has concrete floors. Concrete floors were super rad how long ago? 10 years ago. Yeah. They're not super rad now, and they're like, the polish has come off and there's cracks through it. And they've got 2 little babies that are running around in there too that keep cracking their noggin. So we're gonna put some LVT down. So this is LVP, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile.
Oh, I've never heard of LVT.
It's all vinyl. It's synonymous verbiage.
Never heard anyone say that.
Yeah. So here's, it's for Cheryl and Kyle. Estimated start date, we're gonna start the 2nd of February. Estimated complete date, we're gonna be done the week of the 8th, so the next week. So I give them specifics, measurable. Does this help the agent? Yes. My friend Heidi, who's recommended me to these folks, she is very happy that I can give these dates and know what we're talking about. I have a few other things in here. Here's a note, like, hey, I'm gonna do this estimate and one thing that changes. If you want more changes after that, I'm gonna charge you $125 to help you make your mind up. Note, there's gonna be dust. We're gonna make dust. I can't control the dust. Note, the owner of property is responsible for moving all their belongings. That's on my job. Details matter. New home note. I do a lot of, again, remember I said we help people make their house into a home. A lot of times buyers buy a brand new home, but they saw the option in the model that they don't offer anymore. Or they saw the option in the model and was like, oh my gosh, $40,000 for that upgrade is crazy. Can we do it better, less? Then agent partners call me in to do that. But by the way, if I do any tweaking on the electrical or whatever, it could void the warranty in that area from the builder. Doesn't void my warranty, voids a window warranty from the builder. All right, so now we're getting into the details. This house has a furniture style vanity in the hall bathroom, and we're doing LVP all the way through the house. So this vanity can't be there when we put the flooring down. So we have to pull the vanity out. So here's all the details. We're gonna shut off the hot and cold water. We're gonna disconnect all the plumbing. We're gonna disconnect the P-trap and the drain. Specifics, very important. We're gonna cut the existing backsplash silicone so we can pull the backsplash off and the granite off. We're gonna detach the vanities. We're gonna put it in a safe place that the homeowner directs us to. So who is liable? Not me. And then we're gonna put it all back together again once the flooring's done. So it's all detailed here, $975. That's how much it's gonna cost. All bathroom drywall paint. When we take all that off, it's gonna wreck the drywall and the paint, right? So we need to give them, that's what it's gonna cost, $552. Baseboards. The house has some very nice baseboards in it. That was put in before they bought. So they've got nice 4-inch base. There's no reason to replace the baseboard. Other contractors like, absolutely, we gotta replace the baseboards, we can make some more money. We're gonna do what needs to be done to help them get on the market. Again, my relationship with Heidi is paramount because I want more work from Heidi. I want her to continue to say Travis is honest, Travis is gonna tell you the truth. So, we're gonna take the baseboards off, store them, put the LVP down, put the baseboard back on, recaulk them, fill all the holes. And that came out to $2,600. If I was to replace all the baseboards, it'd be about 10 grand. So, significant savings, right? Flooring. This particular one, this is a gift. The flooring purchase is a gift from their parents. So they bought all of the material. We're just installing. So there's a price that's like $8,400 for that.
Nice.
So not bad. Altogether, subtotal 12,008. Some taxes, total 13,900. 75% due upon contract. Why 75%? I have other contractors that do it for 50. All those guys go out of business. You don't want to know why? Because they didn't charge enough money up front. They're robbing from Peter to pay Paul, and your job might be last in line, and it's not going to get done. So that's where the MBA came into play. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. You need to know how to do this. If you're having a contractor that's only asking for little bits of money, they're going to be chasing the homeowner all the time, and the project's going to get delayed because they're waiting on money. So, have an understanding of business acumen matters. 25%, that's what we get paid when we're done. All right, all parties acknowledge that this estimate is made in writing. If there's any changes, it has to be done in writing, no verbal agreements. Smart, huh? Done this a few times. When a business estimate is provided for bins or repair work, all parties acknowledge the estimate is based off what was observed in the inspection period pictures. I get called a lot for agents that need help with bins or repairs. Oftentimes I say, hey, send me the bins or let me look at the pictures, I'll give you an estimate based off that. If I'm doing one of those jobs, I just have a writer in here that I haven't been there, I haven't inspected the work, I'm going off of what you want me to quote and going off the pictures. By the way, I do that for agents. If you are a buyer's agent and need business repairs, but you're trying to use that as a leverage point to get a reduction or get whatever closing costs, I charge like $300 to $500 to write that. If the buyer chooses to use me to do that work, I take that fee off of the work. Depending on how much work needs to be done, if the listing or if the seller needs help getting it done, I can get paid through escrow. I'll do the work and get paid through escrow depending on the dollar amount. And if I feel comfortable doing it. You know, if I get the shady sense, I'm not going to do it. But you know, my spidey sense, Holy Spirit will tell me. So, demo trailer. We're going to put a demo trailer on the house, and if your HOA is upset about it, you need to call your HOA. That's not my job. You want me to do the project, I need to put the trash somewhere. So I have that in there. And there is, the owner always has the right to make a complaint with the ROC, and I give all the information for the ROC, and up here, all of my information, including the ROC number. That's what an estimate is supposed to look like. Does anybody have questions about this? Does this make sense to you? This would work perfectly for what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
So I can send you that.
Yeah.
We can make it, we can tweak it.
Yeah.
Okay? Alright. Does anybody see value in that?
Yeah.
Experienced.
Yeah. Alright, cool. That worked. Alright, so now we're going to get into ROI-driven remodeling. Why execution matters, and as much as the ideas. We were having a discussion earlier about how she does a lot of referral-based, and people contact her because she specializes in helping houses gain value. So ROI, what's ROI, guys? What's that mean?
Return on investment.
Return on investment. So it's important that we're throwing good money after good, not good money after bad, because it's a reflection on her, and she's done a good job because people keep calling her. So that's great. Good job on you. So, where bad contractors cost agents money? Poor workmanship. We see it, right? How often do we walk into a house and it's been recently remodeled, and it looks like the walls look like cottage cheese, and the paint's peeling, and the baseboards are barely hanging on, and the toilet's not quite set right, and it wiggles, and the countertop's loose, but man, it's freshly remodeled.
Yeah.
So and then what happens? We get inspection issues out the gazoo. Your inspection should be, we tell our buyers, hey, expect to see 50 to 75 pages. That's normal. That's normal. Doesn't mean the house is falling down. It just means the inspector's pointing things out, and most of it is covering his butt so he doesn't get sued. So, because that's the world we live in. So, if you're seeing an 80 to 90, 100-page inspection report with big ticket items, that's because the remodel was done bad. Missed timelines, listing delays. That happens if you have things go awry. Cheap materials. The 6x24 tile planks, those don't cut it anymore. That was great when the market was really hot and you just need to get some cheap floor down. That doesn't cut it anymore. Same thing with the bamboo LVT or LVP. That's not good. Buyers object to that stuff. No permits. Do we always have to have a permit? No. It's important to have a good contractor that knows the rules. There's liability. There's certain liability I take on as a contractor that I have to warrant. Anything structural needs a permit, or at least engineering, so that covers me, covers the seller, because that estimate I just gave, they're going to give that when they give their spuds. They're going to give that to the buyer, so the buyer knows who the warranty's through, right? If you're doing fresh work. A $10,000 remodel done wrong can remove $30,000 in value. We've seen that out there, huh? Yeah. Okay, story time. This house is one of my clients' house. I helped them find this house and buy this house. They decided that the powder room was just too small. So they demoed the wall, tore it all down, and this was completely open. There was no framing on this side, it was just open. So they put a curtain up, so if you're in the bathroom, the curtain was gonna give you your privacy with the door. So, and like, and you, the picture, you can see the texture is crap, the cabinet is wonky, the toilet, there's a toilet paper roll there, like just, it's gone, but you know, that's where they kept it, was toilet paper down there. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? I'm like, Travis, can you help us? Yeah, I can help you. Is this, they were trying to get ready to sell and they thought this would be a good move. And then they called me in for listing, but I'm like, guys, what are you doing? So you can see some of my notes. When I'm on appointments, I take pictures and make notes on it so I can write the estimate. But that's all right. We're quality contractors, protect realtors' money. This is how we do it. We use solid workmanship, which gives you lower visitor items. Is there going to be visitor items? Yes. Is there such thing as a perfect house? No. There's been one perfect person. He didn't build any of these houses. We hit our timelines. If we're ready for listing pictures on time, does that help you? As an agent, heck yeah. Quality materials. We're not going to use cheap crap. Watch your mowers. And when permits are required, we're going to give you liability protection. This. Can you guys see the cool scallop tile on the wall? This is another example of a powder room that this was like, I think $4,500 in a luxury listing in Estancia, or sorry, Verado. And it's not a bad spend, and it really, from the crappy pedestal sink, it really gives a statement piece. And I know, it gives them a statement piece that, and people freaked out and geeked out when they came in and saw that bathroom, and it helped the house. Helped the house. All right, faster sales and higher commissions start with predictable contractors. Here's reality. Unpredictable contractors equals unpredictable listings. It's what's on the, if this is what's on the surface, what's beneath the walls. Have you guys heard that before?
Yep.
You're like, holy crap, if they're this bad on the pretty, what's the important stuff look like? This is a listing that was, I helped an agent with this one. This is a condo over in Scottsdale. The upstairs bathroom leaked into the downstairs bathroom for a good long time. And it was black water, or gray water.
Yeah.
So it stunk, it was bad, and he was trying to get this up on the market. That happened. HOA is responsible for making it right. HOA came in and did demo, but they didn't. When water runs down the wall, there's a cavity in between the studs. That's drywall on each side. They took the drywall out on one side, but left the neighbors in the house next door, and the drywall was stained this high. So they brought me into like, hey Travis, can you write us an estimate of what all of this would entail, what all of this would cost? Because we're having to file a lawsuit against the HOA. So when I walked in, there was 3 dead rats that were like that big. It was nasty, nasty. But this is what happens when HOA hired a cheap guy to get it fixed. Now the HOA, massive liability. And this guy owned 2 properties in that HOA. The other property was on the 2nd floor and the roof leaked. So, the story just kept going on and on. But anyways, that's why it matters. Faster sales, higher commissions, start with predictable contractors. What sells? Clean finishes, quality execution, and confidence. This is my friends, Pete and Jen. They have a cute little townhouse off of Scottsdale and Cecil Road in McDonald. This fireplace was buried in the wall. It was covered over. There was nothing there. And they said, Travis, can you help us with this? I'm like, of course we can, yes. Well, come to find out, we started getting into it. This was a 1970s built house. So there was this just pimped out, sunken living room with seating. So it was like stair stepped down. It was literally this far down. The fireplace was at this level, and now the floor's at this level. So we had to do some archaeological digging and find where it was. We raised the whole box. We pulled out the 40-year-old damper, and we reused it because it was just a work of art. Yeah, it was beautiful. And we're not going to find anything better than that. So created the new firebox, and she I love Jen. She has just these awesome ideas and shit. Can you do it? I saw this in the magazine. Can you do it? I'm like, if they can do it, we can do it. Yes. So this is quartz that we hung from the wall and secured to the wall all around, and it sticks out from the wall that much. So this was so much fun to put together. So they put this together, and that's we cast the concrete as the hearth. So that's floating and anchored into the wall. So super fun project. Does this increase the value of that house? Holy hamburgers and things, right? This is just a beautiful piece. Experienced contractor advantage. You get accurate timelines. It's clean and neutral finishes. You help with coaching so that people can sell their house. And that work that appraises cleanly. Having a contractor that understands how much budget we have to work with so that we can get this property to close and appraise is critical, right? It's really easy to go, just throw money at it. We need to throw wise money, wise money. The right contractor doesn't just improve the house, they improve the transaction. This is Pete and Jen's house. They had this gnarly, nasty, little tiny, it was a flip that used IKEA cabinets. IKEA. It was, the doors weren't aligning, they were falling off, it's all particle board. They had bought the house 10 years ago, the cabinets lasted maybe 7. So they said, Travis, can you help us with this? Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we did this kitchen blowout that turned out amazing. So all new cabinets, we did the high-end panels on the end panels that had some detail. We did the furniture mold. I think I have another picture in here pretty soon, but full custom backsplash, crown, 2-stage crown molding. Is this value for Scottsdale? Would this make sense? It's also still within their ROI. They're still making money. Every dollar we spent on this, they're getting back in return. I'm good, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Buyer perspective, fixing up homes to create equity with the right contractor. Fixer-uppers create equity if the remodel is done correctly. So this is a picture of a house that was in Surprise. No backyard, 0 backyard. We went in and you kind of see a glimpse of it. There's a putting green on the right, added a pool, built pools too. Did this travertine, added in a fire pit, pergola. So this is about $80,000, $90,000, but it bumped the value of the house about 120. So it made sense to do it. Buyer fears. What if it goes over budget? What if it's done wrong? What if it doesn't appraise? Can I finance this? How many buyers have a crap ton of money sitting around? What money are they using? The money that they have, what are they using it for with you right now?
Down payment and closing costs.
How much of it is a struggle to get a full down payment and closing costs?
A big one.
Most of the time they're borrowing from mom and dad, or there's a gift funds coming in. They don't have money to put down on to make it pretty. They're just trying to eke into a house, right? So where's the contractor? They help create equity through smart renovations. They give clear scopes, transparent pricing, realistic timelines, market appropriate finishes. Equity's not created by the renovation, it's created by execution. But we still haven't answered that question about how we pay for it. We'll get there. Here's an example. Buyer buys a house at $420,000. The remodel, scoped for comps. That's critical. I'm going to come back to that in a second. $30,000. Finished value at $500,000. So when we're showing houses that are in the buyer's budget, but the buyer wants, what's that saying? Beer budget, champagne taste? All of them have it. We do too, right? We can't blame them. We all want pretty things. So when we're showing the property that isn't quite there, but the floor plan meets, the location meets, if we did a couple little tweaks, would that make it? Most of the time, it's yes. Here's a solution. A buyer remodel financing option. Has anybody ever heard of the 203K? A couple of you have. Okay. A full remodel of a 203K can be conventional or FHA. It requires a contractor estimate. So that estimate I just showed you, It requires that. It's confined only by the limits of value. So, going back to that last example, we know the property can be worth $500,000. They're buying it at a 420. We're putting $30,000 in. What is the buy? The total buy. What's the number? With the remodel and the purchase price, what's the total purchase? $450. The house is worth $500,000, right? The lender has to show enough equity to cover the remodel and still have equity left. Make sense? Okay. That's why it says it's only limited by value. If there's anything structural that needs to be done, that also has to fall under the full remodel 203K. So with this, we can do, like if they're buying $1 million home and they're putting $600,000 down, we can do a $300,000 remodel in this loan. Math works both ways. So we can, it's scaled. So we can scale it up, scale it down. There's a HUD liaison that needs to be in contact with this too. Okay, so this is how we help buyers. How do we help sellers? Hard money. HELOCs. There's other things that we can do to help a seller if they don't have the cash to do it. There's also a 203 remodel loan program. The second part of it is the limited. This is only FHA. It's a max of $35,000 and nothing structural can be done. So that estimate, why I'm so specific is because I have to give these to loan officers that then give them to the HUD representative that has to review it and make sure that all the equity pieces are there. That's why. Is that helpful? Yeah. Makes a huge difference because this is how you can get to the pretty. How often is like the guy's like, yeah, you know, I just need a place to sleep and if I have a beer fridge, that'd be awesome. And the wife's like, come on, we need the courts, we need the pretty. Yeah. All right. Another example.
Charlie, is there anything other than 203K available? Any new programs?
For buyers to do this, to finance it? Not really, man.
203K is still the best thing.
That's the best of the best. The other thing they can do, I mean, we can do it after the fact. The 203 allows us to finance the whole thing in, and there's a timeline, like I have to have it done by a certain amount of time, and then they can move in. The other thing we can do is if they close on the house, if there's equity there when they close, there's a possibility they can do a HELOC. Interest rates are better, but they're still not great, like, they're not great. Hard money is another option that we can do with people.
203K still does money in increments as the job goes. They're inspecting the property as they go.
Yeah.
Can
There's,
any lender do that, or do you work with specific lenders that
I work with two amazing lenders that both do that.
Yeah, I got one that does it too.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
They're weird.
They are.
The guidelines are definitely different than something you might use.
All right, this one, another estimate. It's for Miss Stacy. She's in Sun City. She bought her house and now she wants new windows. So this is how we're going to do new windows for her property to increases her value, helps her when she's ready for a resale. She'll be ready. But in the meantime, we're doing windows and insulation. So that we're doing kind of the harder stuff first, the not pretty stuff, but it's going to give her more value every month. So this is the first part of the renovation on the new buyer, which she's choosing to do. So new windows, we had to pull out the old ones, and Sun City is notoriously known for having non-custom size windows, or non-stock, non-standard. So we have to customize a lot of windows. So we have to pull off her shutters. She also has wood shutters that she wants to save. So we're going to pull those off and put them back on. Demo, we have like $2,800 in demo for pulling all the windows out and hauling them off. Windows, we're going to install them. They're white vinyl windows with low E-gas, so they're higher quality, way higher quality than her single pane aluminum. She's going to be much happier with these. We're going to do drywall. These crazy windows, I've built for a long time. Just caveat, I've built for a long time. These windows fit inside the entire sill of the window is a aluminum jamb with a flange around it. So these were like 1950s windows. Like it's been and in the 50s they used multiple different vendors. So I haven't seen this before. So I was like, what in the world is this? And they're inset. So usually the window glass is on the outside. So you have an internal windowsill. It's not. It's on the inside. So there's no windowsills. So we have to take them off, put in the new window, provide a windowsill with drywall and corner aid so it looks right, texture it, paint it, so it all looks good, and then on the outside we're putting in trim around the siding. So that's kind of the long and short of this one. I won't get too much into the weeds, but then we're doing some blown insulation into the attic to help her with the insulation value in the house. Right now she's freezing. In the summertime she's hot, so this is going to make a world of difference for her. Any questions on this?
What's the total again?
20,623.
If you can do windows pretty reasonably.
I mean, there's a lot of work that has to go into those windows. I don't know how big the house is.
It is 2,600 square feet, and we're doing 13 windows.
It's high,
It's
but
made
I
of wood.
guess there's a lot of work.
There's a ton of work. There's a ton of work.
Jeff, can you roll a pool into a kid?
Can you roll what?
Pool?
I don't see why not.
I think finance goes through. Yeah, I would think so. What's that?
Where the cost came in at is all the custom sizing.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
If I had standard windows, that would have reduced just the window cost by 60%.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right. Fixing up homes to create equity with the right contractor. Important note. Where did the value come from? Not over customizing. Finishing to what buyers expect and clean workmanship. This is my friend Pete and Jen. We've been talking about them a few times here. They wanted to get a bathroom redone. So she wanted, Jen, I love her, but the court she wanted was $30,000 a slab. I'm like, sweet girl. Let's put that into the next house that you're gonna live in for a while. You're doing this to sell, right? So let's do the quartz that's like $1,600 a slab. That's really pretty. It's really pretty. And we're still gonna do nice cabinets with nice finishes, but we're not gonna go to the mastercraft line. We're gonna stay in the budget line that still is pretty. And we still did the under slab mounted sinks. And this is all in the champagne bronze, which is kind of it's the flavor right now. Here we go. It'll go out soon. So that was what she wanted, and it turned out great. Like it's stunning. So we did staccato. She liked those staccato like octagons. So we did that in there too. That really popped. It doesn't pop well in the picture, but if you really want to see it, you can come look at my computer. It looks really cool. Good Realtors casted.
Staccato? What is that? Is that like saltillo?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that better?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I want to see
Oh,
that
This
faster
is
again.
sticking that thing.
Oh.
Is that better or worse?
That's
No,
better.
That's
much
way
better.
better.
Thanks, Johnny. Helps me see better too. This lights hurt my eye. All right. So Good Realtors cast a vision. This is my friend Jen. She's the agent on this house. She called me and said, "Hey, the buyer loves this property, but it has this loft with these cutouts that go down like 15 feet, and she's got grandkids, and she keeps calling these the death windows. So we can't have death windows, but she loves the house. Can you help us?" I'm like, all right. So she didn't hesitate on buying something that needed to be fixed a little bit. And there's also, she loved this area. The buyer loved this area because her daughter lived in the same neighborhood and has 4 grandkids. So she wanted to be in that neighborhood, but this was the best option, but it still needed help. It checks all the boxes except, is what you'll hear people say. And so what we do, we can be that resource that comes in and makes it right. So there's 3 of them. There's one here, one here, one here. This is kind of like the stairs that come up, and then these go like woo 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 all the way down. So we created basically a library for her grandkids. In this alcove, we made steps that go up, and there's a pad, and the kids can sit up there and read books. We flushed out the wall on the back side of it. This space is about 24 inches.
Do you have a picture of the after? Come on, it's gotta be up there.
I probably do.
Oh, man.
And then we put shelves in this one, shelves in this one, and it's full of kids' books, and it looks amazing. So, and it wasn't that much money, and it made it work for her. Now people invite us back, so now I'm working on a kitchen for her. So it's beautiful. Contractor solution. Rough estimates during the inspection. When you are working with buyer and you get them under contract, I don't really do a lot of work on I want to be a resource to you guys. That if you're calling me while you're showing the house, hey Travis, we're looking at 8 houses today. This one, we really want to estimate. I'm like, bro, did you see my estimate? It takes a lot of effort, energy, and action. So I can give you a rough estimate during an inspection. If you're under contract and the buyer's put down earnest money and they're serious about buying this house, I can come and give you an estimate. And I'm totally down with that. So, we also want to talk about what's cosmetic versus structural. A lot of times, again, this is Jen's house. My sweet friend Jen. She wanted to put in this shower, and she was like, dude, I really want to do the back wall all the way across so it really pops. I'm like, awesome. This is a cheap way to really give some luxury. Just adding a little bit more time. When we got into this though, that wall was out of plumb this way. This wall was out of plumb that way. So we were fighting this. So as a contractor, responsibly, I can't say, we have to say, crap on crap equals crap. So we're not gonna do that. So I had to talk with Jen, like, okay, this is what needs to happen. It's gonna cost a little bit more, but it'll look right. And she said, okay, there's no way of knowing what was underneath the wall. Of course, let's do this. So that's what's important, to have someone who really knows you. If I could see under walls, I'd be a billionaire, right? And it'd be something I'd market and sell. I can't, nor can anyone else. So when we're doing these remodels, sometimes we get into things that are unexpected. But the couple extra $100 it cost us to flush out and fur out the wall so it's right, made a world of difference in her listing. It looks right, it looks good. And then helping explain what's easy versus expensive. So easy was adding some more tile on that wall to really make that bright and pop. Make sense? All right. I don't guess I bring in a contractor who knows the numbers. This was another friend of a friend. Agent referred me to this client. They're from Iowa, and they wanted a media wall. They had an old 100-year-old house in Iowa. This is where they come to play golf and warm up. So he's like, Travis, can you come up with an idea? I'm, sure. So after asking he and his wife all the questions, what are you after? What do you like? What do you want? We designed this. So it has hit lights that go around the entire structure. The cabinets are floating. It's framed out structurally for an electric fireplace to go in later. We covered it for now because they didn't want to incur that expense. The mantle, I actually found it on Amazon, and we customized it and ripped a piece in the bottom so we can put headlights underneath that, and all of it works off the dimmers. So, and then this is the bracket for the TV. So it turned out great, and it wasn't a huge cost, but it gave value to them and what they wanted, and will be future value when they list the house. Any questions on this so far? No? Okay. Remodeling versus relocating. Location versus functionality. Oftentimes, in today's market, people will come to us and talk to us about, hey, I want to sell, but I also want to buy, and we need to sell because I need a home office, or there's a baby on the way, or, man, my mom's got Alzheimer's, and I need to make a change so I can keep an eye on her. Or we're starting a business, the business is growing and I need some more space. Okay, they're gonna ask you to come and be able to do your listing presentation, you do your listing presentation, and you helped these clients 3 years ago, and the market just quite hasn't gotten there to give them enough equity to get what they want, and they don't have cash reserves. What do? Could we look at converting what they have to meet their needs? And what value does that, as you as an agent, does that bring value? Because who are they gonna use? They're gonna use you. Is it selfless? It is, but it's the right thing to do. Right now, I am doing a lot of generational need work. I just helped a client in Glendale. Her mom actually has dementia, and her father had just recently passed away, and her mom was getting lost and needed help. So we built onto their property an additional 440 square feet. When we did the addition, we didn't realize that there was an addition that was attached to the laundry room that was they had floated the floor 1.5 inches to get it to plumb or level. There was all kinds of wow in that one. But we got it done, and her mom now lives in a self-contained, protected area where she can't wander out, and it's safe. She has her own small little apartment with a bathroom, with a kitchenette, everything. So she's autonomous, but safe. I'm going on another appointment in Litchfield on Friday. Kind of same situation. Mom has Alzheimer's. Dad can still stay with her, but they need help. So we're building an ADU on an acre property for mom and dad. So there are not many choices out there for this type of need. You know, those of us who are in our 40s to 60s, we're called the Oreo generation because we need to help our mom and dad, and we still have kids living at home. We're trying to figure this out, and sometimes the safest place for mom and dad is with us. So this is an option that we can provide. All right, remodeling versus relocating. Value as an agent. We're putting the client's needs above our own. We gain a lifetime client. And guess what else it does? It increases the equity and sales price for your future listing. How many generational homes are out there? Not very many. How big is the need?
Growing.
Huge need. So right now when I'm helping people with flips, it's the first thing I'm saying is how can we make this generational? How can we, and we're tweaking and doing things to make it into a space where mom and dad can be, or grandma can be, or auntie can be, or whatever the family needs that is. Friend, family, whatever. Any questions on this so far? All right, let's talk about some myths. All contractors are the same. Are all realtors the same? We're all created equal, but some are better than others.
We're somewhat true.
Cheapest bid saves money. Is that true? No. Permits don't matter. Nobody knows. Sometimes.
California.
Any remodel adds value. Is that true? No. I love those lick 'em, stick 'em, backsplash things. Oh my gosh, they come out like, and they leave the backsplash that's already on there. Oh, guys. Let's reframe that. Good contractors protect resale value. They understand comps, and they know when not to remodel. This is when we poured the slab for that, for mom's place. So this was the laundry room I was telling you about. The slab, once we poured everything out, the slab was down 1.5 inches. So we had to do a lot of work on the inside. This became the bathroom, and then we added all this in for her bedroom, her little kitchenette area, and we did it on a split unit, saved a ton of money. So, and we added a parapet, we added in the front, we did a pergola, we did travertine around the pool, added RV gates, all in. I think this was about 165 all in once we were done with everything. But it just, this one just kept, hey, Travis, can you? And Travis, can you? And Travis, can you? Like, of course. And they had plenty of equity, and they had sold mom's house, so they had money to do it.
Is
So,
this in a non-HOA neighborhood? Yeah.
what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
The next one I'm doing is in the HOA.
And how's that approval
It's
process
fine.
going?
We've got a couple of them going right now.
Really?
HOAs are understanding the need. If you do it to match,
Right,
it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah. And AUs are such a hot thing right now.
Mhm.
Cities are like, yes, yes, yes. Because
Yeah.
the need base for housing is critical, and they understand the boomer generation is in that space now, and there's not enough housing for them. Which is why also the government's giving tax incentives for us to take care of our parents instead of putting them in houses, which isn't that the way it used to be?
Yes, that's how I grew up.
All right, what makes a contractor a true agent partner? Agent-friendly contractor trades. They understand ROI and comps. Respects listing timelines. Neutral buyer-friendly design. It's really important when a seller is trying to do a little remodeling. I know you know this. They're like, well, I want to do this, and it's some crazy off the wall. I'm like, dude,
No, you don't.
you are not going to live here. We're doing this to make money. Let's talk about what makes money. If you break it down in dollars and cents, usually people go, oh, okay. Do the fancy on your next house. Like I worked for a baseball player. He played for the Red Sox, and another realtor friend referred me over to him, and they had this cute little place off like 67th and Deer Valley, and he's like, dude, we host parties. It's all we do. It's party. I'm like, awesome, man. It's great. And meanwhile, his wife's running around in a bikini, and her friends are like, this is a whole lot going on here. And he's like, but she's pregnant, so we're gonna have a baby soon. I'm like, okay, so you want me to make this party, but kid friendly? He's like, yes, that's what I want. I'm like, okay, we can do that.
And your daughter, I mean, your wife put some clothes in that.
Please. Yeah. What makes a contractor a true agent partner continue? Clear communication. They're licensed. They're insured. They can get permits when they need it. Everything we do comes with a warranty. Most contractors have to honor, if they're licensed, bonded, and insured, they come with a warranty. However, again, not all contractors are created equal. They won't oversell unnecessary work. How many times have you guys been at a car sales dealership and but then you can,
Oh,
and
every time?
then you can. Like, that's not what it's about. There's a dollar figure that we're trying to accomplish here. How do we get there? And with a true agent partner focused contractor, they're going to help you do that. The contractor should think like an appraiser, not just a designer. Here's the synergy of the contractor and realtor partnership. Realtors create opportunity. You bring in the business. You're the one with the relationship with the client. Contractors convert that vision into value. That's our role, is to make it happen. And then together, we reduce risk, increase sales, and build reputations. That's why people keep coming back to us. The best agents don't just have contractors. They have construction partners who protect their brand. So this was a new build. If he's a pilot, the agent that was my partner, she referred me to them and said he saw some cool stuff at a different builder that he wanted to put into his house, and the builder didn't offer them option. Can you help? Yeah. So we changed out the countertops, put in new faucets, and he wanted to frame in the mirror so it looked like wood. So easy, simple, and it did everything he wanted to. Here's my contact information if you guys want any of this. I also have a really cool QR code. If you do the QR code, it will dump it into your phone.
As everyone reaches for the phone.
Do you guys have any questions?
I heard you say a lot of West Valley. Do you primarily try to stay West Valley for your work?
I live in Surprise,
Mm-hmm.
but we go everywhere. So I do stuff in East Valley. If we need, wherever the work is, wherever the client is,
That's
we
how
go.
my business is too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I drive 6 hours to go to Southern California to do listings
Okay.
and help buyers. So I do whatever people need. Yeah, my
Do
truck
you have
has
like 10 of
200.
you? Because I'm trying to like grasp how do you do all of this?
We have a good team.
Okay.
very good too. So I'm the face, I do the estimates, I'm gonna be the point of contact. I've got the dump trailer, I get the materials, I manage that. My business partner Eric, he helps me with the field. So Eric and I have worked together for 25 years. He was part of Del Webb team when we were building 40 a day.
Yeah.
So he and I have a very good relationship. So that's where, and we've got crews and we've got everything's in house and vertically integrated.
So how long, that's kind of a loaded question. Say somebody wanted to do like a full gut,
Mm-hmm.
how, like, estimate, how long could you get that done?
Full gut and rebuild,
Yeah.
depending on what we're doing, it's anywhere from, depending on the size of the house, how many bathrooms, kitchen,
Yeah, just ghosts.
anywhere from 6 weeks. If it's like a little condo townhouse, if it's a 3,000 square foot big old honker house, it's gonna probably take us 12 weeks. Just depends on what we're doing.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
my friend.
Travis, I heard you said you do pools.
Yes, sir.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Do you resurface pools too as well?
Good. I need that.
I didn't know that.
Johnny, he's actually, I've worked with him with one of his clients too.
He was super happy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I'm glad we got to help him. He was a good veteran that had really been given the shaft on a lot of ways, and we were able to kind of step in and help him build equity. And
Tough situation. You did a great job.
oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
I liked some of your ideas for, like, when we're talking to a seller, like a lot of times I'll have a seller that, you know, we live in the old 1950s homes in Old Town
Yep.
Scottsdale.
Yep.
And if they're like, oh, we're thinking of listing, should we do blah, 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 and a lot of times I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you to spend $50,000 on a kitchen right now for, like, it's gonna be, it might not do anything, it might sell it faster, but you're certainly not getting that cash back in your pocket. I like the examples you gave of, like, a den to a bedroom, or the little wow factor of the powder room.
Mhm.
Are there other things that kind of like we typically suggest bam, 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 you know, things that are worth the buck?
Paint.
Paint.
Paint's cheap. Interior and exterior paint, that's like oftentimes a critical path. Like you want to make it, what is a quick way to make it, to shine up this little nugget?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
a quick fresh paint is
Yeah.
easy to do. Countertops versus doing the whole kitchen.
Okay, nice.
A backsplash, if the countertops are there, maybe like if it's an old tire remodel like
Yeah.
2006,
Yeah, yeah.
very earthy tone and all that. If the countertop is still kind of okay,
Yeah.
we can pull that 4-inch backsplash off and put in
Oh, okay.
more neutrally,
I like that.
You know what else I see a lot of? You know, the houses built in the 80s where they had all those insets for like your stereo and your
Oh,
TV.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
rid of those.
Gut that out.
a lot.
Good idea.
gut out the
Yeah.
old media with its cabinets and
Yeah.
It's
Make
funny
it-
how, you know, some stuff is like, well, it's mid-century modern cool, or it's, no, it's, you know,
It's just
popcorn
mid-century.
ceilings and, you know, the drywall, gross.
And
Yeah.
oftentimes when we're getting into stuff like this, popcorn ceiling is a great example.
Yes.
That's asbestos.
No, no,
And oftentimes like, we just hired a guy and he scraped it. I'm like, you just blasted asbestos everywhere throughout your house. It has to be remediated appropriately. And then it's a violation on that person, whoever they used as the contractor, and now they're liable for asbestos being in the air for the buyer who just bought the house. So it's really important that please
Yeah.
ask questions. If you don't know, please ask questions because it can really mess you up. John.
Trav, if I pick up a listing, let's say it's 750 or above.
Yep.
And I want to have some kind of estimate on stuff to use to help sell it. That's something you can do for me.
We can have a conversation, you bet.
Okay.
Yep. I really want to help you guys get houses sold. Like right now on the market, it's very competitive, isn't it? There's a cracked 29,000 listings.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that many listings since 2008-ish, 2009-ish. So being competitive is really important. Doing the things, little things that whatever we can tweak to make that house sellable, we want to do right away. And we're coming into buyer season. What is buyer season?
spring.
Super Bowl Sunday through the end of May. Yep, because we got to get this house sold. We got to buy another house before it goes back to school. Yep.
And baseball season, lots of people here,
Yep.
spring training.
Any other questions?
Yes. How concerned are you about some recent news stories that talk about, you mentioned BlackRock and all the, if Trump at all makes that illegal, and, because he's trying to do a good thing by bringing down the cost of people buying homes. However, those of us who own homes and are maybe counting on having a bunch of equity, how, do you think it's a good time to maybe just sell a house that you have equity in, against the concern that it's gonna lose equity because of that? Is that gonna affect your business, you think?
Here's what I would say. We were doing just fine before Blackstone and BlackRock
Yeah.
came into town and did this. And those properties have been coming on the market, and they've sold a lot of them. So I don't know that it's gonna have a massive impact. We are still in a housing shortage. No matter how you cut it, there's still more people moving here per day than are leaving. So we need housing. I am not drastically concerned that it's gonna blow up my equity. We own 2 houses.
Yeah.
You know, we've had them for a lot of years, so like, I can take an impact there. If you're concerned about it, cash out, dude.
Yeah. Well, we need to downsize anyway. There's just 2 of us, 2,400 square feet, 4 bedrooms.
And it sounds like you already know what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fire season. Like,
For what it's worth, I vouch for him 100%. He's
Thank you,
great,
John.
he's great with client costs.
Appreciate you,
Good
brother.
to see you, Johnny.
What else, guys?
This
It is
great.
1:30, so I'm honoring your time. I'm telling you it's 1:30.
So you
I will
talked,
stay as long as you want to answer questions. I don't have no
What are you doing the next few days?
I'm around.
so you talked about something about $500 a month, like, do you have,
So our team.
Yeah.
Okay. So, our real estate team, it's $500 a month until you close your first deal, and we do one-on-one once a week. We do an hour coaching. We're also available at any time, pretty much on call. So I mentioned I go back and forth to California. I've been in the car driving to California to take a listing, on phone, helping an agent write an offer, walking line by line through an offer so that they could submit the offer. Or an agent's been at our house at 11 o'clock at night because their Wi-Fi was out and they needed to write a listing. So like, we do what is needed to be done to help you be successful. So that's what we're after. We want you to succeed.
how many people do you have?
Right now, it's just my wife and
I'm just,
I. Yeah. So she coaches as well. So the way we kind of see it is God brings who God brings. I'm not worried about a number. I mean, if you want to hear numbers, we've had as many as 15 on the team. We've had 60 people through the team. So like, the team, I have a very different mindset on team. A lot of other teams are like, they want to capture you and they want to hold you hostage. It's a 2-year contract. If you break your contract, we're going to follow you to your house and break your kneecaps and do all these mean things. And like, that's not, who does that benefit? Like, I don't know. I get worked up sometimes when I talk to other teams on dynamics, and they have to run their own business, and good on them. If they're providing leads and doing all that stuff, I can understand some of that. I don't provide leads. I teach you how to do your own business. I'm going to teach you how to run a business. So that's the difference between us and everybody else. So did that answer your question? What else, y'all? Did you have fun today?
Yes, I would love to. I want to let everyone ask their questions, but I definitely want to talk to you after.
Okay. Be happy to.
Yeah, I want to buy you dinner and talk to you for about 4 or 5 hours.
Who wants a date?
No. Like, when I was young, which is a long time ago, I built houses. I was a framer.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for Horton and Henthorne. I built a lot of houses in McCormick Ranch,
Yep.
in Scottsdale area. Also some custom homes like south of Lincoln, off Palo Christie in that
Yeah.
area. I spent maybe 4 or 5 years doing that, and I got out of it. But I've done remodeling. I just did my first flip,
Mm-hmm.
and I found a house in Cave Creek. Flipped it in 6 weeks, made a killing on it, everything went right. And I know that I don't want that to be like a false, okay, it's always gonna be like this. So,
We've done over 600.
yeah,
We've never lost money.
The guy I'm doing it with, you may have heard Tom Ackerman. He
I've
works-
heard of Tom.
Yeah, Tom knows you. So he goes, you're like him with a GC license. He's like me with a GC license, he said about you.
Yep.
So, you know, thanks to him, everything worked out because he has all the knowledge and experience. I'm a curious combination of lifetime knowledge experience, but almost none in real estate. I just started, just got my license a few months ago.
Okay.
So,
You're gonna find, as a guy who understands how houses are built,
yeah,
when you're walking through, you're gonna see things that clients don't see, and that value is gonna be huge. Like, there's times I walk through a house and we're going, and I'm like, guys, all right, we've seen it. And I start walking to it, like, what do you, like,
no,
you don't wanna do this one.
yeah.
You don't wanna do this one. And they trust that experience because, for instance, had a buyer that really wanted to buy in Dorado. Cute little smaller house that we found that was gonna meet their needs. They were downsizing. We walk in the garage and the stem wall is crumbling. I'm like, guys, do not buy this house. Wait, the price is so, yeah, there's
What
no
is it?
the price is this. I mean, we literally, to fix this, we have to pull, I'm sorry, I've used a lot of words today. Suspend the garage and redo all the stem wall and footings
Shore up.
and shore it up, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Shore it up and then set it back down, permits, inspections, all of it, and you have to take the drywall off because we need to secure it somehow. So the $30,000 drop in price is not even gonna be a drop in the bucket on this. So, yeah, so your experiences make a world of difference for
Yeah.
people. Be careful on your flips.
Say again?
Be careful on your flips.
Oh, I know.
Make sure you're using someone licensed because that can come back and bite you.
Yeah.
This one went
In
really
perpetuity.
well. We had one open house, practically the first person that saw it bought it,
That's awesome.
and we netted like 7 grand.
Good for you.